open a site. Yeah, sorry guys. Yeah, I did not start the recording, so recording has been started now. You can see. Okay, today's topic is like we will be uploading a file, and we'll try to see that how this file validation upload after uploading. How do we validate like whether this file has been uploaded or not? Okay, so here I'm taking Orange HRM. So this is one of the site which will have the option to upload some files. Okay. I'll take you to the navigation. Where do we need to upload the file and what is that module? Okay. So first you can just let me log out from this. Again, I'm going to log in. The username and password here it is given. Okay. So you can use this username and password. So admin123. Now click on login. So you can see this dashboard. Okay. So this is the dashboard. So next what is that we have to do is like we have to click on PIM. And after that, you can see configuration. Under this, we have a data input. Okay. So we'll write down the scenarios. After that, we can start testing this particular thing. Okay. So like, let me just download this file, import data one. So I'm just opening it. I'll enter some data here. Okay. So I'm going to insert some data in it. Say that's can't. Actually, PH employee ID is like 1234. And okay. Save it and we try to import the data. So importing, what are we doing here? See, I'm just clicking on this browse button and I'm trying to import that particular file. Okay, going to that location and click on upload. So here we got one record successfully imported. Okay, so this is what we have to validate. Okay, after that I will be clicking on this. Okay, so how do we do it? Okay, so we'll write possible test cases for this. Okay, so just I'm going to open Notepad. Okay, so open URL, enter username, password. After that, click on PIM. Click on configuration. Menu, select data import option. Click on browse button. Upload file. Validate message after file gets uploaded. Okay. So we'll be validating this. Okay. So what is that we are going to do is like first we'll be opening the URL, then entering username and password. And after that, click on this PIM. Then after that, clicking on configuration. So what we have like configuration menu. Under this menu, we have to select the data. Okay. So this is like possible test cases that we have to automate. Okay. So to upload a particular file. So we know that how do we open this and how do we use this? Here we are going to use the send keys and click actions here. Okay. So finding out this element and clicking on it. And after that, we'll be using some Moto element and actions classes and clicking on it. And we are going to load all this, like whatever we have options under this configurations. And we are going to select one option from that is data import and click on that browse button. Then after we are going to upload the file and then we are going to validate message after file gets uploaded. Okay. So these are the test cases that we have to automate. Okay. For this, what I'm going to do is like, I'll just start with one of this. Creating by one of the packages here called Selenium. file upload. Okay. So we try to create some methods so that it will be easy for us. Okay. In real time, what we do is like we don't call this find elements and all. So what we do is like we are going to use a methods, separate methods for them to just handle those things. Okay. So because we are going to find a lot of elements, right? So that is the reason why we'll be writing separate methods. So upload file sample. So within the same package, I'm going to create a class called base class. Okay, within this base class, we have driver D, and here I'm going to use main. Okay, let's not use main method here. There we are going to directly use it. Okay, so driver public. So you can return the WebDriver or directly we can have this WebDriver because anyways we are using the inheritance. Okay, public static void get browser. So here I'm going to use the WebDriver manager.pro setup. Okay, so if the string is passed as like browser string, okay, if it is browser dot equals ignore case, it is Chrome. What we do, we are going to load the Chrome browser. So D is equals to new Chrome. We have already written all these things. Okay, so but now I am trying to show you like how do we exactly use this timeout.page load. So I'm going to give duration of seconds. So I'll use 30 seconds for loading the page. Okay. See, after that, I'm using the .manage.timeouts. Receipt wait. So with the duration of seconds, 30. Okay. See, after that, we get and be loading. What is that the URL that you want to load? We can directly load. Okay. String URL. Okay. So I'll do the same thing. Else what we do is like we are going to throw the exception. So new exception. Search browser. Okay, so it's going to throw an exception. So here we are going to add the declaration. So what is that here we are trying to do is like we want to load the Firefox browser. So here we're using .fire or driver, and here also we're using Firefox driver. So like if you want to load the Edge, you can load the Edge driver also. Edge driver. Okay, simply we'll be calling this with the help of like passing two things here. And if you want to have this enums created, that is also not possible. Okay, so we can create the enums because I want to make it as like browser types. Okay, as we look into that, we'll be creating browser types. Inside that, we are going to use Chrome, Firefox, and Edge. Okay, so I want to learn this only 3 browsers. So in this case, what I'm going to do, I'll be using browser type browser. So we'll be comparing this. Okay, so if we have this browser type Chrome, then it's going to load the Chrome browser. Okay, so there at the runtime we are going to pass this one. So it's a best practice to have this, because if somebody else, like, there is no point of, like, if you use something here, so even it doesn't allow there itself. Okay, so we can put this one or we can use the similar one. In this case, if you are just passing this, like, if you want to get this exception, then that is also quite possible. Okay, so let's keep it this way, and we'll at the next examples we can just change it for the browser types. Okay, so now we have this class defined. Within this class we have a method, and this method is going to return you the, okay, so get this browser type. Okay, so if we have this, like, extending this particular class, we'll get the browser here, where in this. Okay, so here what I'm going to do is, like, I'm going to create a main method. So in this main method,
Shrikant, why we have created the base class?
base class is to get the browser. Okay, instead of writing all these things, so I'm just creating a base class here. This base class will get you the browser. Okay, so now you see, you want to
Okay.
get browser. Here I'm going to give the Chrome. We'll see what happens here. Okay, now, so it's a static, so we have to use the class, but this is like, let me just add throws exception here. Okay, so which site I want to open? This is the site I want to open, right? So I'll just go here and log out. See, we have login authentication. Okay, so I should able to see this one. Okay, so in base class, I'm going to write one other method is, like, I want to close the driver. Okay, so public void. I'll say that tear down. Okay, so tear down is like just closing that browser. The method name. See what we did. So we are just writing this methods to get this methods. Okay, now you see I'm just calling tear down. Do you see anywhere browser here? We don't see anything like WebDriver or sorry, WebDriver or anything. We don't see anything here. Okay, so let me just go and execute this, and you see how this works. Will open and it will just close this browser. Okay, maximize is not done there, so it will close it. So it is like connect. It's very fast. So let me just do the maximize also. After loading this, we got manage window got maximize. Okay, so it will maximize the browser. Okay, I say I'll wait for 2 seconds, then I can close it. Okay, let dot sleep for 2 seconds. Okay, so what it is doing is, like, it is opening and closing it. Okay, the next operations, like, we want to perform some operations on it, right? So we have this browser loaded now. So, like, driver loaded. So whichever, like, driver you want to load, you can just pass it as a parameter in the next class. Here we are calling get browser. It's like it will get the browser. And after that, what I'm doing is, like, I'm just closing it. But what are the actions that we have to perform here? Is like we need to enter data into this. Okay. So how do we identify? Inspect this element, and you have to enter username here. Okay. So how do we identify this element? Control F, input, and what is that we have is like name. Name is equals to So username. So I don't want to only pass the username. Okay. So I want to have this element return. So here I'm going to write one other method called public void get element. Okay. So here what I'm going to do, I'll be using a dot find element by. So here by. So what it returns is like it will wait, it will get this element. Okay. So for this, what I'm going to do is like I'm going to use one other method. Like this method will wait for that element. Okay. We go void, or else we can return web element. Element. Wait. What is that we are going to here? What is that we are going to use here is like public static element. We are importing this web element and we have to return it. Okay. So it is like for okay. So I'm just writing wait for element. So it should wait is already a result keyword. So that's the reason why it was doing error. So now for what I'm going to wait now. So I'll be waiting for that particular element. So for that, what I'm going to do is like driver wait element wait is equals to new web driver wait. I'm waiting on this element for the duration dot of seconds dot of seconds of 30. Okay. So we can write like this or we can directly use this. Okay. So and after this we can use until expected condition till expected conditions dot visibility of element. Okay. Visibility of element located by. So what is that we have to pass it here? So what it is going to return is like it's going to return this wait. Here we have the visibility element located by. So we have to pass by. Okay. So what I'm going to do is like I'm going to use this wait for this element. So internally, so I'm going to use this wait for the. Okay. So now after getting this element, what I need to do is like I need to click on that element. Okay. Or else I want to enter send some data in. So what I can do for this, I'll be writing another method called public static enter the text. So here you can see what is that I'm going to use is like I'm going to use internally. How I'm calling this now is like I'm just calling this method. I'll get this method. After that, what is that action that I want to perform is like so here what I'm getting is like I'm not, it's not returning anything. Okay. So getting is like I'm getting the element here. So what I can do is like I can return this element. Okay. Return this web element. So after this, I'll be getting this element. So send keys and text that you want to send, you can pass it. String text. Now it's see when I call this enter method, it will call this internally, it will get the element by calling this method. Okay. So now directly I'm going here. I'm using enter text, and by is like by dot. What is the text path that we have to pass is like we are going to use this text path. Okay. What is that I need to pass it as a parameter is like one is XPath, another one is like admin. Okay, I want to enter this data. So same for the next thing. So here we have password. But here we have password is like 1, 2, 3. And I want to click on this element. Okay. For clicking this element, I need to write one more method. That is nothing but public static click. So here what is that I need to pass is like dot click. Okay. I'm going back, and after that click element by dot XPath. So here we don't need this text. Okay. So text is not required. So I'm not passing any text here. So we go here and we try to click on this element. Okay. So login. So login is a button, and it's like type submit. So what I need to do is like button. We have type submit. Okay. So it is able to identify this one. Okay. So now I go here. Don't get this. Okay. Now what I'm trying to do is like I'm entering username and password. So after that, what we have to do? So these cases are done. Okay. So these two things are done. We need to click on the PIM. Okay. So I'll go here and try to identify. Okay. First I'll enter admin. Then after I'll enter admin 1, 2, 3. And click on this. Okay. So there is something error here. Do it again. 2, 3. Okay, so here we have the element again. So the visibility, this element is like it is in the span, and it says like yeah, okay. Whereas we can take this one also and we can click on it. So but we have this element available here, PIM. Okay. So Control F now. How do we identify this? A under this, it is under the span. We have to give the text. So this is all we have discussed already, right? So how do we identify the element? It's like we have to use some XPath. You can use anything, okay? So XPath or CSS select also. But here I'm using XPath. Okay. So I need to click on that. Click element by dot XPath, and after that I'll be clicking on this element. Okay. So clicking on this PIM element. After that, what I have to do is like I need to when I click on this, so what it is doing now? It is like we have to click on this configuration. Okay. So configuration. So I need to wait for this element to visible. Okay. So for that, what I can do is like I can directly wait for that element. For that also we can write one. Otherwise directly you can wait for this element. Okay. Wait for this web element. So what I need to do is like I'm using wait for this web element to visible. So then I need to use like by dot XPath. I need to give this. So what it is written, wait for a web element directly, I can call it right. It's going to return me the web element. After that, I want to click on it. Okay. So what I can do is like, I can just create a web element here. Okay. So you can like, you can just take this element and you can just say that configuration. Okay. I'll say config is equals to this one. So it's going to return me the web element. So I'm going to take this web element, and how do I identify this element? Now you see. So this is the span element, so which is available under this configuration. Okay. Like I Control F, and here, where is it located? It is located in UL and LI, and inside that we have a span. Inside that span, we have a text. Okay. So directly we can use normalize, guys, normalize space, and you can use this one. So when you don't use space also, then it should work. Normalize space. Now you see, so it was not working earlier, right? So now it is like it is. It is like showing up all this many number of things. But what is that we want? Why we want to find out is like we want to find out only the text of it. Normalize space. We got this configuration. Okay, wherever the configuration is first available, so it's going to click on it. So, but it will click on this, but we need to identify the element only specific to this side. So, writing content. Let me just use this content. I'll just come back to this. This should work actually. I'm just making some mistake in the syntax actually. Okay? So otherwise it should work. Now it will identify that particular element itself. Okay. So we have to close this. Contents, text, configuration. Contents, I'm writing spelling wrong. So that is the reason it's not. I see we got this. Okay. So I'm going to copy this. I'll go back to the script here. Here, I'm going to paste it. Okay. So now it will wait for this element, and after waiting for this element, I'll be getting this element. Okay. So I'm going to use the actions classes also. So here, what I'm going to do is like I'll write public static void. Otherwise, I should be returning this actions classes act obj. Okay. So object I'm going to return. So here, what I'm going to do is like action is it is equals to new action sign driver. Okay, so return city. So what it is doing is like it's going to return if the object action class object. So now what we are trying to do is like we don't want to use it all the ways. Okay, so if for every right, like if you want to move to that element, I don't want to use it. In that case, what I'm going to do is like I'll just use. Okay, so I'm like just creating object for that action class, and that action class will be used all the like whatever action that we want to perform on that element. Okay, so for example, see what I'm going to do is like public static void move to element, and you want to click on it. Okay, 2 actions at a time. If you want to perform 2 actions at a time, what you can do is like you can use this. Okay, so now you see I'm going to use AC object dot, then I'm going to use move to element. In which element you want to move, that we have to specify here. Okay, so that's nothing but we have to pass it as like a web element. Web element dot pass dot duration. I'm going to use the duration dot of how many seconds that I want to wait is like I want to wait for 2 seconds. After that, I want to click on that. Okay, so click. After that, will dot perform. Now you see what I'm doing and simply using this. I want to see. Likewise, I'll be clicking on this element, and after that, what I'm going to do is like see if you want to perform multiple actions, and if you don't create this object every time, you have to create like actions act is equal to new actions. So for that, I'm just going to create a simple method here. So this method, what it does internally, it will go here and create the object, and it will return the object here. Okay, so after that we can perform the actions. See, after clicking on this, okay, after clicking on this, what we have to do is like which method I need to call now. So move to element and click on that element. Once you find that element, I'm going to click on that element. Okay, so it will be moving to that element and it will click on that element. So here, to element and click. Static void main. Sorry, public static to element and click. So now it is working. So it will click on that element. But after that, what we get, see, we have to, it's kind of like a chaining. We clicked on it. We clicked on it. When I click on it, so what is happening? We are getting these options. So we need to get all these options. For this, what we have to do, we have to use list of web elements. On which element you want, like which option you want to click, you want to click on this data import. Okay. So for this, we have to identify the list of elements which are there under this config. Okay. So two ways I'll show you. One is like when you click on this, so you'll get the object, right? So object also we can use that and we can get the list of elements, or else directly you can get these elements here. Okay. So first one is like on which drop down we are getting, like, see, this is the drop down and we have this UL. UL is nothing but list of options. Under this option, under this UL, you can see there are this many list of options here. Okay. So how many LIs are there? These are like LIs are like list of options. This is nothing but a list actually. Okay. But if we would have like had this select class here, so there directly we can use this select class, but we don't have select class. If we don't have select class, then what we have to do is like we have to use list of web elements to capture of the web elements, and after that we compare the text whatever we have here, and once we get the text we click on that element. Okay, so how do we do that is like I'll show you. Okay, Control C, Control F, and now you are going to identify this list. The class is equals to, so this is what we have this. Okay, so what I need to get is like I need to get all the web elements. For this also we can write a small function. Okay, so return, what it has to return is like it has to return me the list of web elements. Okay, for this I'm going to write public static get list of web elements. Get all elements. Just writing get all elements. So why I'm writing these methods are like, yes, these are all reusable methods. Okay. So in real time also what we do is like we never call anything like, do you find anything like d dot find element, d dot, nothing is there, right? Wait also, everything is like kind of methods that we are going to create. So with the help of these methods, we are going to have these elements. Okay. So here what I want to do is like, I'll just use this, but there is a one other thing. Okay. So here I'm going to wait for all the elements. Okay. Wait for all elements by, and here I'm going to change visibility of elements located by using visibility of element, all elements located by. Okay. So now it's going to return me the list of web elements. So it will return you the list of web elements. Internally, you can go and check what is that it returns. It returns list of web elements. It's the expected list of web elements. Okay. So now we have this web element and we'll be waiting for this web element. So what I'm going to do is like I wait for this web element here. I'm going to call it internally. Okay, y dot xpath, and here I'll be passing this by, sorry, use what it does, it will take the by and it will return in the list of web elements. Okay, so what we do here is like we go back to this, and here we are going to call get all list elements, and by dot xpath here I'm going to give xpath, and this xpath will be returning me the list of web elements. Again, I'm going to take like this list of web elements here. Okay. So now it's all up to us, like what do you want to do on this? Okay, so you want to check what is that you exactly want to click. Okay, so options. Okay, I'll say config options. We got all config options. Config options are stored in this list. So once we get this, select a particular option. Okay, so here we can write for web element, and it is like config options. config option. Select option, sir. You can just write option. Which option you want to select? Okay. So option. So what is that we want to select is like we want to select the data import. Okay. So here what we do is like if option dot get text equals to what is that we have data import. If it is data import, then you can click and you can break it. Okay. So here what we do is like option dot click, and after that you can break it. Okay. See, now what we are doing is like we want like this is also kind of a method that we can write. Okay, go back to this and you can write the method here. So what is that we can do is like we can write, we have already written this, right? So okay, this is different, and let's close this. Let me close all this, guys, so we can open. We need two things. Close all, this one and this one. We are working only on these two classes, right? So and takes 10 minutes. In base class, I'm going to write public. So on which option do we select it? So for that, what I'm going to do is like I'm going to write a public static, and I'll return it as like a string. Static string select option. Okay. Select option. I'm going to take the string. Which string you want to select it? Just I'm going to paste it here. So what is that I'm expecting here is like I want to have this options select. Pass it as like a parameter. So here I'm going to pass it as like a parameter. Web element. Okay. So I got this. So I'm going to pass it as like a string. Okay. So these all kind of like options that we are going to select elements. Out of this element, I'm going to select one element. Okay. So add return statements, the text what you have selected. Okay. So this is what we have selected. If it is available. Okay. So if it is available, then we are going to return. Else, what we do? So we'll see that if that count, if it is not there, then directly we are going to throw the exceptions. It will return me the 0. Okay. So for that, we have to do one thing. So I'll discuss it little later because this is like first we have to understand. So we are passing web elements, a list of web elements here. Out of this, I'm going to select one list of web elements. So that's nothing but the text. Okay. So here we are going to make it as like a parameter. Now it will go and check for this. Okay. So now it will go and check for this. If this is there, then it will click and it will break. And it will return this text, whatever text that we have selected. So here what I'm going to do is like get, what is that we have select option. So what is that option that we are selecting? Like here I'm going to pass data import. Okay, so it will return me the string. So string option is equals to this one. So I'm going to write a statement here saying that option selected. It's not complex, guys, but we have to practice this. Okay, so this is very important. Okay, only that I'm writing the methods, I'm returning whatever is required. Okay, so here till now we have looked into this, right? Let me execute this and we'll see that. Okay, I'll just comment this line here down and we'll see what are the actions that it's going to perform. Okay, so let me execute this code and see. Let's open the Chrome browser. Has entered the admin 123. I clicked on the PIM. I clicked on the configuration. It should click on this data import. Okay, it should click on this data import. Let me check what is that it is doing. Okay, data imported selected, but did we click on it? Option dot get click. So if it is matching, then it should click on it. I've taken this and it's such a fast that it has just gone through this, and I'll just do one thing. I'll call wait for element. Okay. So wait for element, and I'm going to pass it as like a parameter here. So it should also have this. I'm going to create one other method, only it should wait for the web element. Created by. Okay, visibility of element located by, instead of located by, I'm just passing this as like a parameter. So I'll come back here. I'll save this. So what is that it is showing? So it is good. Accept this. Okay. Okay, let's go and execute this again. So what it has to do is like it has to select this, right? So it is passing like all the elements are passed here. And we'll see that what are the options that we have. Okay. Before printing it, I just want to see what are the options. Okay. So let me just go ahead and try to print the options here. So for this, I'll use system.out and option.getText. Okay. So we'll see that what are the things that it's going to be. Okay. Whether the data input is there or not, that I am going to check. So learn in this way, guys. So it will be easy for you to do it in real time. So this is like, in generally everybody would come with some set of approaches showing all these things at the later stages, but you have to practice at the beginning itself. Now you see we have got option fields of the custom fields and data input also. We have the data input and input. So what we have to do is like we have to click on that, right? So it should click on that element. So we have these elements. Okay, all the elements that whatever we are getting is like are coming from this list. So I need to pass the same element here. So I'm just passing it, which is the text that I want to. Yes. So here I'll come. So option. So instead of using this again, I'm going to use, see, internally what I'm doing is like move to element and click on that. Okay. See, what I'm trying to do is like I'm getting the text of it. If it is equals, then it will go and move to that element and it will click on the option. Okay. So data input option. That was this one. See what I'm using here, I'm using elements, I'm using weights, I'm using stuff web elements, I'm using actions classes also. I'm trying to cover as many things as possible as we discussed in the topics. To element and it clicked on it and it's like still it's not clicking on this import. So once it clicks on the import, so it should show this page to me. Okay. So let me check what is that exactly happening inside this data import selected. It says like data import selected. So this one is happening. But the thing is like we need to check why this is not. We have to wait for the element and we are waiting for that element. If this is like equals to text and it will move to that element and we'll click on this break. Okay. So I'll try to do the debug, guys. Okay. So debug is like simple thing that we want to identify where the control is going. Okay. So just we can click on it and just I want to show you. Okay, debug is also the topic that we are going to discuss down the line. I'm just trying to find out where exactly the issue is. Okay, it is part of our curriculum. We have to learn debugging also, and what are step into step over everything I'm discussing. Okay. Now you see, once it clicks on it, and it will come back to switch to the Eclipse. Okay, so now I'm trying to identify whether that element is available or not. Okay. Okay, it's waiting for that element, and we have this option. See, what is that? We have the option here. Is like to just I want to find out what is the actual. Okay, for now we are not getting it. Let me just. It says like it is clicking on something, but it did not click anything there. Okay, so still it is like kind of. Options we have, and we'll try to get into this again. So it shows like the element is clicked, but it's not clicking on the element. Okay, I'll just stop it, and yeah, I got the issue. What is that issue is like? So it is like finding the element, and but it's not clicking on this. Okay, option.getText equals or ignores the text that we are passing it here. So I need to take this one as like a string here. String option equals to get text of it. I'll take OPT. Okay. OPT. Just I want to print it. Okay, let's see that what exactly it's going to print. Okay, so this is another way of debugging this. Okay, so this is another way of debugging. So here we are trying to execute and we want to see what exactly it is doing. Okay, so it's waiting for that option and we are getting the text of it and we want to print it. And here, if that option is available, then it will move and click on that and it will break it. Okay, so let me execute this. If it is not working, then directly we'll see the other options also. Directly, I would have shown you like how do we exactly do the file upload. That is only piece of like only 5 minutes of task. But behind that, what exactly happens is like how do we design this framework? How do we call this? How do we create the methods? And what is the exact stages of doing all this stuff like designing the framework is like I just want to show you that things, guys. Okay, now you see what it is printing here. It's printing this data. So yes, we have like data import here, but it's not clicking on this element. So what is that reason is like it's taking the web element, okay, and should click on it. So because we are using the same method here, right? So we are using the same method in case of upload also because it is moving to that config and it is clicking on that. Okay, again, and we are after that we are getting all the elements of this using this. After that, we are going to click on this. Let me take this one. Maybe I am making some mistake here during identifying these elements. So I should get the list of elements, right? Okay, I got all the elements here, but I am not taking the list here. Okay, list is like now you see I've got the list here. So it is clicking on that element. Okay, it's like it's clicking on that element itself. But we'll try to take the web elements here. Okay. So now we can change it and try to click on it now. I want to get all the list of web elements and then I want to click on it. So it's working fine, but it's clicking somewhere else. Okay. Somewhere in the sense only on that web element, directly on the web element, but not on the options. Okay. LI is like UL is a parent element. I'm identifying that parent element. I want to capture that list and I want to iterate that list. In that list, I want to select the option data. Now it clicked on it, right? Now is because I made the mistake here, like only I did not put this list. I'm taking this complete web element at a time. Okay, so now you see it is clicking on here. I mean, it is clicking on this particular element, but it's not like clicking on the actual option. So that is the reason why we are not able to see that. See, after this, I want to validate. Okay, so I want to wait until this element is visible. Okay, so what is that? Go to data import, and you can see it is under the para. Okay, so what is the text of it? So it is. Let me just go ahead and try to find it out here. Data import. Okay, so Control F, and I'm going to P at text. So if this text is available, then I'm going to perform the data import. Okay, these are kind of like validations, guys. Okay, we need to validate everything. After that, now you see, so it's very easy for us to handle this because we have all the functions written here. Okay, so what you need to do is like we need to wait for that element. Okay, so I'm going to use wait for element located by dot xpath. Okay, so here you can see we can use this web element. What it is doing now? Web element is written. Okay, so what is that element? Data input. Now we discussed about get element. Okay, so we discussed about one condition, right? So is data input visible? For that, what we have to do is displayed. If it is displayed, then only I'm going to click on that. Here also we can write one method. So for this, we can just take this as like a method. Go here, write, click, static, void is displayed. So what it returns actually? It returns a boolean. Okay. Here, write public static. So here what I'm going to do, I'll be using that method is displayed. Okay. So is displayed method where it is available? It is available on the web element. Okay. So directly you can pass it as like a web element. Otherwise, you can take the web element and you can pass it here. Done. And dot. And dot is displayed. Okay. So is displayed is like I'm just overriding this is displayed. Okay. Is displayed is like internally it will go and it will get me that element. So is displayed. So I'm not using that. Now you see if is displayed and you can use the data import. Okay. So now we are not writing dot the element dot is displayed. If it is displayed, then what I'm going to do is like I'll take the web element. Again, I'm going to get this web element. So what is that? We have a click of that element. So what is that element that we need to click now? We need to click on the browse. When we click on this browse, we get this option. Okay. So we need to identify the element for the browse. The div browse here. So that Control C, Control F, and what is that we have to use is like div text is equals to now actual upload is coming into the picture. Okay. So earlier we did all the base things for that. Okay. What exactly we do in case of writing? For example, if this is a class where you have to perform something like, we need to traverse to that particular log into the application and click on that PMI. After that, click on that configure. After the data import, then after you want to upload the file. Okay. So now it is like if this data import is displayed, then only I'm going to this browse button and clicking on that browse button. After that, what we have to do is like, there is a simple thing actually. So we talked about like actions classes. So we can do with the actions classes, but the thing is like, we cannot handle, it's an important interview question. Okay. So we cannot handle this window based pop-up. Okay. Window based pop-up, but I need to get the location of this. Okay, so where this element is located, and I need to pass it as like a parameter to this. Okay, so I mean like I need to take one other class called selection class. Okay, string selection class. So in that string selection class, I am going to give the path of this particular file where this file is located. Okay, so before going into this, we need to write a piece of a code. That's nothing but we'll be writing piece of a code to select that particular string. Okay, so what we do is like we go here, and we are going to select this download, and this is the file which is available. What does this? Get the properties of it. So where do we get the properties? You can see it is located in this location, and here the actual file is located. I'm going to paste it here. Okay, so it will not allow me to do that. I'll just copy this and taking that as like a string here. And after that, what we have, the file. Okay, take the file. Okay, just I'll comment it here. So what exactly happens in this case is like this. I'll explain. Okay. Now we'll see action upload. So we have the application here, and when we click on this browse button, it's going to open a different window. So this window is like this is this is the window which is like browser. Okay, which can be automated using the Selenium. Okay, so Selenium can recognize all the elements which are part of the browser. Okay, but this is opened as like a window. Okay, so window, that's nothing but window pop-up. So we have our two ways to handle it. One is like this is not appreciated because most of the companies, they will not allow you to handle this third-party tools. That is called auto IT. Okay, auto IT, I don't appreciate to have this auto IT used because this is a third-party tool that will help you to automate. Okay, another one is like okay, we'll talk about SQL later. And after this, we have direct user send case. Okay, send case in the sense we are going to pass the we will be identifying that particular element, and we will be sending the location of that file in that send case. Okay, this is nothing but when the send case will be supported is like when we have that particular tag input. And the other thing is like we have Java AWT. Okay, so Java AWT tool, that's nothing but we'll be using the Robo framework. Okay, so this Robo framework, what it does is like it will try to perform the actions, keyboard actions. Okay, that's nothing but Control C, Control C, Control V, and all these actions. Okay, so Control A. So all these things can be used with the help of like Robo framework. Okay, so for that, what we need to do is like we need to just create an object for them. And here, what I'm going to do is like to do the regular kind of like uploading method. Okay, so regular kind of uploading method. In this, what I'm going to do is like I'm going to use string selection is a class. Okay, string selection. In that string selection, I'll be using toolkits. Okay, so toolkits are nothing but what they do is like they are going to get default toolkit. Okay, so this default toolkit will copy the location whatever we are passing as like a parameter, or else creating this is kind of like a class, and this class in this class we are going to pass the parameter as a constructor parameter. So this constructor parameter will be taken, and this constructor parameter will be copied and pasted to the default clipboard. Okay, default system clipboard with help of like default get tools. So default get tools are available under the AWT. Okay, so Java AWT. So we'll go and try to see what are the documentations which are available for the Java AWT. Java AWT. I said tool kit. Okay. Now you can see toolkit. Okay. So toolkit is a class. Inside that class, we have methods. Okay. What is that method that we want to use is like default toolkit. Okay. So let me just default toolkit here. So get default toolkit. Okay, so this get default toolkit is a method of this toolkit. Okay, so get default toolkit, if a system property named headless and is set to true, then like what it is like toolkit is used. So what this do is like it's going to call internally, there is another method, that's nothing but we are going to use this method. On top of it, we are going to use the system clipboard. So this toolkits, what they would do is like whatever we have parameter passed to the string selection constructor. Okay, string selection is like it's a class again. Okay, so that will be copied and pasted to the default. It's simple as like this. For example, here I've written some data. For example, string selection. Okay, so if I'm using default toolkit, okay, so directly what is that we have an option Control C, come here and Control V. So this is what we are doing it. Okay, so which is like helpful when we are doing it in a Windows based application. Okay, somewhere in the browser also. But when we say Control C, okay, Control C, still you can see that I'm only doing one time Control C, but Control V is like helping me to copy the same content again and again. So where this is stored now? So this is stored in the system tool, system clipboard. Okay, system clipboard will be stored in a system clipboard. So that is the reason why we are able to do this many times of this many times we can paste it, but copied only one time. Okay, so what exactly we are going to do here is like we are going to use string selection class, and here we are going to create object for this. In the string selection class, I'm going to give the parameter, okay, constructor parameter. This is nothing but a string. So this string will be copied and it will be pasted into the system clipboard. So how do we do the system, like how do we copy that? Now we have copied it. How do we paste it? We are going to use toolkit dot get default toolkit dot copy it to the system. Okay, so what we do is like get system clipboard dot and set the content. Okay, get the system clipboard, set the content. What is that content? String, and we'll be passing the null. Okay, null is like you can just there is something that we have the parameter here, but we need not to pass that anything after this, and directly we can use the null. Okay, let me just go back to this documentation. I can show you. Okay, so next is like we have I'll just go ahead and try to get default toolkit. Okay, so we have this get default toolkit. So under this, what is this get default toolkit? You can see this is it's going to return a toolkit. Okay, so it will return the toolkit. Toolkit in the sense this is part of like AWT Java.AWT headless. Okay, so AWT is only designed to handle the Windows based applications, to handle the Windows. Okay, to handle the Windows. Now Java Selenium does not support Java. I'm just talking about like Selenium. Selenium will not support automating the Windows based application, but Java supports it. Okay, Java supports it, but Java with the help of like AWT packages. So we are using some components of AWT packages and we are trying to paste that content. Okay, whatever content, wherever the file is located, that content I want to paste it in the pop-up. Okay, so when the control moves to the pop-up, it will copy the content from this Java program and it will paste it on the Windows page. Okay, Windows in the sense that pop-up, it will just paste it there. So because as we see this, right? So I've just copied some content here. Okay, so now you see if I say Control V, so still that will be available. I'm pasting it from where? I'm pasting it from the paint. Okay, so I'm pasting it from I'm copying from the paint, I'm pasting it here in the window. Now I can paste it here also, right? I can paste it here. But how this is available? This is available in the system clipboard. Okay, likewise, when we do the Control C, that will be copied from that location and it will be available in the system clipboard. So once I get this system clipboard, okay, so now we got the system clipboard. See, after that, what we are going to do is like, we are going to use the robo keys. Robo keys like control. What we have to do is like, we have to paste that particular content into the window based on. Okay, so window pop-up. So we'll see that. How do we do it? Okay. Now we got this location. Here I'm going to use string selection class. So we'll look into the string selection class, str. Otherwise, we can have the string also, string class also, string. And here we can use string. And we can copy this, paste it here. So it is in C drive. So it is like a step sequence that we have to give. Okay. So now I'm going to use toolkit. Okay. Now you can see it is coming from AWT. So this class is the abstract superclass of actual implementation of abstract window toolkits. So window toolkits. So this class will help you to perform actions on this, like, the system, Windows system. Okay. Windows operating system. So now what it does is like, it will just copy that and it will paste it on in the location where we are pointing. Okay. Now you see. Now we have the default toolkit. See, we have method here. In this default toolkit, we'll get system clipboard. We are copying that content to the system clipboard. And what is that we want to set is like, we want to set a string and we need not to pass anything. Okay. But internally what it does is like transferable content. So if you want to transfer like whatever that you want to transfer the string into the system clipboard, that we have to pass it. Okay. So it is saying the transferable clipboard. So let me just go to here. So it is like another interface. So defines this interface, and what it accepts is like, see, defines an interface for classes that can be used to provide data for the transfer operation. So you want to transfer somewhere. So we can just use this one. Okay. So we'll try to use this string, but it is not accepting. Okay. But it's not accepting. What is that we have to pass? It is like, so it is the method transferable clipboard. The clipboard is not applicable for the argument string. Okay. So let me just take this one as like, let me try with string buffer. Not already. The thing is like, it will be allowed only for string selection. Okay. So string selection is like, it's a class from AWT data transfer. Okay. So now you can see, why can't we use the strings? So it is not transferable object. Okay. It says like transferable objects can be used as a parameter. So that is the reason why we have to take this one. So I'll remove this. Now it's not a string anymore. It's kind of like a transferable object. Okay. So now we got it. Okay. Now we got it. We'll try to print the value here. Okay. So we just click on this. We'll try to print the value. So where do we print it now? We can use actions classes and we can print. As we looked into this, like, we have control C, control A, but what we are doing is like, we are performing actions on the element, not on the window. But to perform the actions on the window, we have to use the robo. Okay? Robo framework. So robo framework, how do we use it now? Now, I'm just creating the object for the robo. Okay. So I'll say R is equals to new robo. Okay. Where this is available, it is available in the AWT. Okay. AWT package. You can see this class is used to generate native system input events for the purpose of test automation, self-running demos, and other applications. Okay. So you can see where control of the mouse and keyboard is needed. Okay. So what is happening now? See, when you click on this browse button, where is the control now? It is blinking here. It is blinking here. So what it is like, wherever the control is there, it will paste it there. Okay, that's nothing but it will start performing the actions. So already we have a system clipboard. See control V. If I say control V, what is happening now? it is like pasting it here, string selection. Okay, but if I copy this content, for example, see, now if I copy this content, Control C, and you do the Control V. See, when I click on open, so what it is doing now? So that it's saying like, okay, if I remove this, just open. What is happening now? What is happening? It has imported the data. Now, do you see this? It's showing here. Now, when I click on this, again, you see it is not showing up anything. Okay, let me just change this string, guys. It's not taking this sequence, escape sequence. We'll just put it in this way. Okay, why do we need this string selection? Because we are passing it as like a parameter to the set content. So set content, from where it is coming? It is coming from the system clipboard. System clipboard is a part of get default toolkit. That get default toolkit is like part of toolkit. Toolkit is a part of java.awt. Okay, so likewise it is like all linked now. So to only copy the content from the Java program, Java class to the system clipboard, we are using these two lines of code. Okay, just to copy it. Now to paste it, we are using Robo. Robo is like a class from the AWT. Okay, so how do we perform the actions here? See now, Robo dot, we have events here. Okay, key press events, like what we want to press. First, to do the the event called control and V. Okay, control V is nothing but we are pasting it. Control C is like copying it. So for that we are going to use R dot key press key event dot, and what is that piece of thing that we want to click is like control. Okay, VK underscore control. Now it will click on the control key. After that, what we have to do? We have to do the two actions at a time, right? Control plus V. See, for this, what we are going to do is like control press, and after that key event. What is that event that we want to perform? Is like key event dot VK underscore V. Okay, V is a keyword. Let me just take it as like VK underscore V. Now it is like control V. We have to release that one. We have pressed it, but we have to release. Okay. So manually what we do, control C, and we just remove our fingers, then it will remove the controls. But in case of robots, if you don't release them, then what happens is like it will continuously be like, it will be pressing control V continuously. So because of that reason, what we have to do is like we have to release this. For that we have a release event. Okay, take the same things and just remove this one as like make it as like key release event. Okay, so here also key release event. Just copying it. In the same order we have to remove. Okay, in the same order we have to release. So first we press control, and after that we are pressing V. Then we have to remove the control, then we have to release the control, and then we have to release the V. After that, what we have to do is like we have to enter. Okay, because we are not able to perform any actions on this, like through the Selenium, we are not able to perform any actions on this window pop-up. So we are now pasting it here, and we need to click on enter. Okay, so click on enter. That's nothing but it will click on this open button. Okay, automatically it will click on this open button. So to have this, we have to add one more action here. That's nothing but we press key release events, enter. The same order we have to release it. Okay, so let's do this action first, guys. Then we'll see what happens. It's a little lengthiest topic because see, I try to cover as much as like how do we do it dynamically and what are the things that we are performing as part of like upload. Okay, so now go and run. we are still like, just pressing on the enter, like it's opening that file. Okay, the file gets loaded. After that, what we have to do is like we need to click on upload to validate the message. Okay, this still test cases are not done. Now it's clicking on login, PMI, configure, click on data import. It will wait for data import. Now it clicked on browse. It will copy and paste it here. It is very fast, so maybe like it is not performing. If data is like data input is displayed, then it has to perform this action. Okay. So let me just check what is happening inside this. Is displayed, returning the element is displayed. So it will return Boolean value. Okay. So I just want to see what is that it is actually returning. Okay. So let me just copy this. Come out. Okay. Let's try to see whether it is returning true or false. It clicked on this browse in the sense it is working fine. Okay. It's returning true. Sorry for this. Because we saw that window, right? I just overlooked it. I see. If it is clicking on this in the sense, browse button is available. And it is clicking on that button. Oh, I just closed it 1 second. Let's give at least some time, like only I'll give 2 seconds sleep. For 3 seconds, I'll be waiting for that and just copy that and paste it there. Okay. Selection, yes. Toolkit, robo keys, yes. Right click. See. So it says like, okay, the file is not valid one, but let's give CSV. Not finding that location. Let me just stay here. At least that it will go to the downloads. Let me copy this. Okay. So when I say open, so it will open this one. Okay. The CSV, see, CSV is the thing that I'm missing here. Let me just. I thought like today I can cover JavaScript. These are the biggest topics, guys. So that I want to cover before getting to TestNG, because TestNG also we are going to do the same thing, but we are going to use this base classes there. See now it has pasted, right? You can see data import. Now after data import is done, we need to validate. Click on this button, upload, then you can verify whether that file is uploaded properly or not. Okay. So I'll just close it. I'll come here. PMI. Data configuration. Configuration data import. Click on this browse button. Data import. Click on this upload. When you click on this upload, you should get this. Okay. So this is where we need to validate now. So come here. Upload. Type submit button. And what is that we have? Button. So text. Okay, this is available. I'll take this one. And after this, entering this, I'll be using this path. Okay, and clicking on this element, after clicking on this, you can see there's a message which it shows like file uploaded successfully. So we'll try to give some other data so that we can try it. Okay. The application is not allowing me to enter the same data here. Click on this and try to. Go here and we'll update some data. Remove this. Otherwise, I will try to add. Take out and deleting. I can 7 record it is showing. Okay. So we want to validate the number of records that we have here is like 7 record it's showing, but I want to see that records successfully imported. Okay. So just I want to get it. If I see that import successful, then I want to get this text. Okay. So at the same time, I'll be getting it. So records. Change text. We're trying to. Take records successfully imported. We'll see that what is that exactly we are getting. Okay. So we have this div. Inside this div, we have a button. Okay. Okay, some X is there. Okay, sorry. Now you can see that it is comments we have, and here div header. I'll capture this div header, and under that we have this option data input. Okay, under this data input, we'll see that. So the div, the first text. Okay, we got this data input. If we get this data input, then we'll try to capture the next one. Okay, so next data input. So I'll try to see what I'm going to do is like I'm going to take the following sibling. Under this following sibling, we have div. Under this P, we have this. Okay. Yeah, following sibling. If I say following, then under this P, we don't have anything. Okay, that is the reason why it is shown. So for this, what I'm going to do is like I'll take parent. What is it? It's a div. Under that div, we have sibling. That is also a div. Under that div, we have P. Okay, so this is what I need to get. Okay, so before that, I'll just try to copy this This is XPath, guys. You need to remember this. Okay. So I'll close this one. So wait for that element to be visible after clicking. Okay. Y.XPath. I'll be waiting for that element. Okay. So this element will be returned, right? So it will be returning back to me. Okay. So I'll show you another way. Okay. Now you see, observe carefully. So I'll say upload done. So now what I'm going to do is like observe carefully, guys. So I'm going to take what is that records imported. Okay, records imported. So how do I get it? Is like it is located under that particular element, right? So I'll be using upload done dot find elements y.xpath, and here I'm going to use the xpath. So what is that xpath I'll be giving here is it is within that element, right? So directly I can use this one. Okay. Now we get that. And here we are going to see that number of records. Okay. So now you can observe this. So wait for element will return with the web element. And this web element dot find element. Okay. So this is available. Like, if anything which is coming down, for example, this is the parent and this is the child elements. So first we need to identify this parent. After that, parent dot find elements. So whatever we have here, it will list down these things. Okay. So it is similar to everything here. See, this is parent and this is child. And you can see that if something is like this is parent and this is child. Okay. So likewise, whatever we have under this particular parent, if you want to get the child, so you can use parent dot find elements. That's nothing but here. See, this is kind of like a parent. Under this parent, I'm going to use find element. Okay. So now you see, so we should get this one. Records dot get text. I'm going to get the text of it. So what is the text? I'm not worried about like whether it is going to through the error message or success message. Okay. So now we'll try to go and execute this and see what is that message that we are going to return. So what is it doing now? So it's a data import. Identify the object also. Let me just check it, guys. What is that exactly is missing? So submit, and we have an upload button also. A time dot expected condition visibility of element. Okay, it's like throwing the exception here. Let me check what is that. Have we identified this element properly or not? So it is under the button. The button text we have. Okay, so that is fine. Button, or we use another one is like at the rate. See, I'm using another condition at the rate submit. Okay, so it should be either a button or a submit. I'm just changing the property. Okay, all XPaths I'm using. So here, let me try to execute it again. It is fast actually. I need to wait for some seconds actually. Okay, it clicked on it and went away. I'll wait for this. After this operation, I'll wait for some seconds. Okay. Why I'm using thread.sleep is like now if we need to identify some element and wait for it, right? But element is already available. In that cases, what it does is like we'll go and try to click on that element. Okay. Any wait will not work here. So that is the reason why I'm putting this thread.sleep. This is a very important topic, guys. So how do we upload the files? And other thing is like how do we identify the elements? And so I'm almost all like covered the things actually that are required for us. See, now it clicked on upload. Okay. So because earlier it was doing it, but it was doing very fastly. Now we'll see that what happens here. Okay. This is what we have to get here. It's not getting up the text here. So maybe. So this is not able to identify that one. So it should identify. Otherwise we can take. So if it is not like, once we get it, so we'll be getting the elements which are located under that. Okay. So it is still trying to find that. See, it will show the exception, no such element exception at line number 45. Okay, it's not able to find this. So let me, because we are moving forward and coming to that, right? So if I have taken directly like div, in that case, I can get the elements out of it. Okay. But we have to use this way. So to get the elements. Okay. So I'll try to copy that. So this is what I'm going to use. So now you see it's not required. So directly we can use, wait for this element. After that, I'll discuss about this thing. So how do we use this web element dot find element again? It's not required to write find element. So we need to get the text of it, right? So for that we need to write element web element upload status, and I would like to say that upload status. We are almost done with all the functions. So here also, if you want to find this, like, whether it is available or not, so directly you can take this one. Again, you can put like, is this element displayed or not? Okay, so by dot xpath, paste it here. Going to accept the web element here. So we can write one more method. You can use y also. So here what I'm going to do is like y dot. See, it's all like our requirement. How do we exactly do these actions? Okay. See, now I'm going to just use right here. By dot xpath is already given, right? So find dot, I need to get that web element here. So by dot find, sorry, it is driver dot find. Okay. By. Now you see you don't get any error here. So it will like, it is a polymorphism. Okay. It's a polymorphism. It's going to this web element here. Like we have already created by dot xpath. So it's not throwing. Okay. It will go to this byte. Earlier it was going to web element. Now it is going to the byte. That's nothing but method overloading or overriding. So when within the same class, it is method overloading. Outside of the class, like, in the different classes, it's method overriding. Now we go and see what is that we are going to get the text configuration, data input. Okay, so go and see. Not getting that element. So here I will see what is that, whether we are getting this. What is it? What is it exactly written? Okay. Yes, it will hardly take 5 minutes of time. I just want to show you how do we get and validate these things. Okay. Okay. So let's go and see. No records imported. Okay. It's written in true and it says like no records imported. So this is what it is capturing. Okay. But I want to capture this one. One record and it is like some information it is showing, right? So I just want to, okay, let me do here itself. Inspect. Okay. Complete div will capture. Okay. So complete div will capture. And we want to display this one, orange text central line, model header. Okay, we can give like flash P not required, only will be giving that. Okay, after that, we can click on OK also. So let's see that if it brings up the data properly, then we can do it. See what it is saying, no records imported, one record like failed to import, failed row 2. Okay, this is what we want to get it, right? So when we click on this, so this is what we are getting. Okay, after that, we can click on OK button. So go and inspect this element, click on OK. So it is under the button. See Ctrl F. And type itself. So there are a lot of buttons here which are available. Okay, but we have to click on the button which is available under the input details. So what I need to do now? It's very simple. Okay, so again we have to go with this. So it is available in the div. What is that we have is like text is equals to input button. Now you see I'm going to use following. Where it is available, it is under the button, following button. Okay, let's go and try to identify it again. Otherwise, you can take total DOM, like a total model, what we have here. Otherwise, you can just go ahead and try to check this one. So is it available under this? Yeah, all of them are like, so it is a sibling of this. Okay, so I can call it as like following sibling, but it is not button, it is div. Under this, we have following sibling. So this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. Okay, so it should get me this one. Let me just give it div. First of all, it is not identifying this one itself. So first we need to identify this. Okay, orange model header. I take this one. At the red class orange model header. Okay, now you see get the following sibling which is located in the div. Okay, so we got it, and this is like 2 we are able to see. Okay, 2 siblings are there. So which one you want to capture? This one you want to capture. Okay, so this class name. Let me just enter this. Now you can see it is the footer. Footer I'll type it. Okay, so here what is the class is equals to this footer. Now we got it. Uniquely we are able to identify. Okay, copy this and go here. We are getting the text. Then after I'm going to check for this. Okay, so wait for that element to get loaded, or else you can directly use this get element by dot XPath. You can just copy this. You're getting the element, or if you want to click on it, you can click on it. So whole upload will be completed. And along with the text that you want to see, this few things that we have worked upon, right? So I want to print these things. I'll remove these things now. This is not required because we don't want to print anything. And here also. So data import selected. This is what messages that we are going to do. Okay. So now you go and execute this program. So everything is like, okay, let me do one thing. I'll just stop it here. I'll close the program also. Like I close the browser also after executing. This could be lengthiest class, guys, but the thing is like I suggest you to go through the video because we have made a lot of changes and there are some changes like mistakes also we have done. So better you can just go ahead with this video or else like the whole script I'll be sharing with you. But I suggest you to go through this and please try to practice this. Practice is very important, guys. So there are a lot of things that we are looking at. So that is the reason why I this is how automation will be done. Not in a simple terms that I can say that, it's very easy to work, but few times you can see what we have added is like a lot of things I covered. How do we select the browser? How do we enter the text? What are the different, common methods that we use? Clicking method, wait, all the things, like whatever we have discussed as part of synchronization I covered. And I covered the actions classes also, but this class was intention to cover all these topics. Okay, so down the line also we'll be doing the same thing, guys. Okay, not this much lengthy, but the thing is like wherever we have covered as part of our Selenium topics that I'm going to use them and I'll be creating as a methods like this. Okay, so this will make our job easy. Now, if somebody else comes and if they want to perform like some click action on the element, so you can tell them that go and use this click element because click element will go here and it will get the element and this getting the element will be like, waiting for the element. So instead of writing all these three statements, okay, as a lengthiest thing for all the elements, then we have just written a simple method and we are calling it. Okay. So down the line, what we do is like we move these things also. We'll create them as like a variables here. So that is nothing but objects. So this will become page object model. Okay. So this we are going to get the things from the Excel file. Okay. So this will be created as like a method and this method will not have a main method. We'll look into the test.ng file. So test.ng file will read the data from the Excel file. Excel file will provide the data to the data provider. Data provider will get the data from that and it will pass it as like a parameter of this test. Okay. So that is the another thing that we are going to do. Okay. So in a like one basic, I'm going to add And on top of it, we'll see how exactly we are going to read the data from the Excel file using the data provided. So this will become a data-driven. Page object model, data-driven using the TestNG framework. And like I'm going to introduce Maven also. Maven will be introduced. And after that, we'll see that we are going to run using the TestNG XML file, and we are going to run the code from the Maven file, and we are going to run the code from the Git, and then we are going to run from the Jenkins. Okay, so this is all kind of like a frame. So I suggest you to go through all the topics that we have discussed. I've covered all the topics, like right from the constructors to the file handling and collections also. We are using collections here. This is nothing but a collection. List of elements is nothing but a collection. And we are using polymorphism. We are using inheritance. See, everything is like clubbed together. Okay, we talked about static. Why do we use static? And I covered enums also. Okay, and I covered like if else class. How do we use this if else? And you can write switch statements also on this. Okay, so I'll try to create one other method which will have a switch statement. Okay, so likewise we'll be designing the framework, guys. Okay, down the line I'll be designing the framework, and within that framework you'll see a lot of changes that we are going to make. Okay, still it will take 15 to 20 days, guys. So every day would be like lengthiest days now. I mean like lengthiest sessions. Not as today, but it would be definitely a lengthiest session, at least like 1.5 hours. So that is the reason why I moved class from 8:30 to 8. Okay. Okay, guys, please practice this and let me know if you have any doubts. And please do not ignore any videos or any topics. Okay, please brush up and get ready for your like interviews and all. Down the line in 20 days, you'll be ready with all these topics, like whatever we have discussed. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Please practice. Do not skip any classes from now at least, and please be attentive. Okay. Thanks, guys. Thanks for your time. Let's meet tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.